But the thing about this band is it's been written completely remote. So it takes kind of a special skill set, like for people to be able to work like that.
What's up, everybody? It's Keefy at ghostcultmag.com. I am super stoked to once again be joined by Josh Graham talking about his new band, but probably most people know you from A Storm of Light. How are you doing, man?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Happy Friday. Friday evening for both of us on the West Coast. Just now learning that you've been a West Coaster for a little while, but we met back in the day on the East Coast, and obviously I was a big fan of a lot of your projects, including A Storm of Light. You have a new band now with some of A Storm of Light, Guiltless, also with Sasha from Intronaut, who we've talked to on the channel a few times. Also, debut EP is out today, so happy release day, Thorns.
Yeah, thanks.
It's super killer. It's so heavy. I love how sludgy, and we only music journalists talk about genres like people talk about their children or pets or ice cream flavors. So I don't want to trivialize music. If anything, I like to uplift musicians and music. But yeah, it's such a cool killer record and a killer sound. How did the band form, if you don't mind sharing with us? Because I don't think there's been a lot of information out about how it's like 3/4 of A Storm of Light and Sasha.
It was kind of a long process for me. Like the last Storm record came out in, I think, 2018, and we toured Europe with Mono, and we kind of I knew I was moving to the West Coast, so we sort of put it on hiatus. But I kept feeling like I wanted to do something that was like truly heavier. Sort of, I think with A Storm of Light, I kind of took that band in all kinds of different directions. I think some parts made more sense than others, but I was like, I want to do something that is like completely focused in like a particular direction. But it took a long time for that to actually happen. It was kind of a pandemic, and like I didn't really feel creative. I didn't write anything during the entire thing. And once I think was playing a festival with my project Ivy, which is also with Billy from Storm, and we were playing we were supposed to play Desert Fest in Antwerp, so we were kind of getting ready for that, and I started talking about this project, that I wanted to do something like super heavy. And we talked about it, and then we played the show, and like it was a metal festival, and I have no idea like why they put us on the main stage, but it was killer. Like it was us and Cave In and Brian Jones Sound Massacre, like a totally weirdo mix, but killer. But that festival, I was like, all right. So as soon as I got home, I started writing these songs, and actually like Dan was in the last iteration of A Storm of Light. We've been playing together off and on since we were 15. But Billy wasn't in it because he after Nations to Flames, we toured all over that. He wanted to take a break. He just had a kid, and so yeah, it's weird. Like it didn't like when I was initially thinking of it, like because I told Dominic too from A Storm of Light, I was like, this kind of ended up being like 2/3 of it, or 3/4 of A Storm of Light, but it's not really how it started, and it's no slight to you. But the thing about this band is it's been written completely remote. So it takes kind of a special skill set, like for people to be able to work like that. So I knew that was me and Billy, and Dan has like always inherently been in like much darker, like heavier stuff. So I was like, all right, Dan. And like the song, I demoed out these 4 songs. We were trying to figure out who was going to play bass. And I actually got a hold of Sasha because like I'm kind of in the forest up here. Like I don't know anybody. And I was like, dude, do you know any bass players? And he's like, what is it? Like, I want to play bass. So I was like, oh shit. So we sent him the tracks, and he's like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like I'm into it. so that's kind of like how it started. And then we decided to release this as an EP because, like I said, I kind of demoed these songs out. They definitely changed like with everyone's input. I mean, like they're a million times better now than they were like in my like scratch demos. But for this record, or now we're working on the full length, and now it's going to be like an actual band, like where like we're all starting and instigating songs and like having like the EP released as like a defining, like this is what the band is. Everyone's writing like within the confines of that sound. So now I'm super psyched. Like we have pieces of like 5 songs already. So exciting.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm so glad you shared all of that. Yeah, we've spent a lot of web pages and interviews talking to Sasha about guitar stuff, but he actually, not every guitar player picks up a bass and understands bass, but Sasha plays bass like a bassist also, inherently or just because. And also with Billy on drums, what a killer rhythm section, not a traditional rhythm section-y type stuff, but like together they're very powerful on top of the
Yeah,
rest of the band.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, Billy's been my favorite drummer, I think, since I saw him play. Like, Storm of Light played in Johnson City, and Billy played in Generation of Vipers and U.S. Christmas. And we had a fill-in drummer who was only touring like that tour. And I saw Generation of Vipers and was like, dude, do you want to play in a Storm of Light? That's kind of how that started.
Right, that's amazing. Yeah, I'm so stoked, and I was a big also a humongous like lifetime U.S. Christmas fan. I'm always missing that band. You know, the music industry is not kind. I often say it's the music business, not the music friendship. But if you can do projects like this with people you have a kinship with, not just artistically but personally, it makes it a lot better. You've been a veteran of many projects, leading your own, others. It's not always the case. So
Yeah.
it's really good to hear that this is like a very, people you have not just a rapport with artistically, but like it sounds like there's a lot of trust there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like 100%. It's yeah, super cool.
And I'm for whatever shape, form this takes. I'm so excited to hear about a full length that you can sink your teeth into. So I know people get fixated on projects and things, and like I said, Storm of Light is a huge one. And if it's put to bed, it's put to bed. But if it comes back someday, that'll be cool too. But this is so killer and so much a fun release. It's fun for such heavy matter. It's a lot of fun. I like smiled a lot listening to this. I don't know if that I'm abnormal or not.
Nah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, like it's funny because like in theory, it's like it feels like the most negative stuff like I've ever written, but at the same time, like yeah, I don't know. It's like it's definitely cathartic and like more. I don't look at it negatively. Like I don't think any of us do. It's just like it's cool to find like that kind of heft and like focus, and we're all like Billy and I were talking today, like we're just really looking forward to playing this stuff live.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see some of this live. I was thinking about like a lot of post metal and sludge metal. Again, there I go with the genres again. One of the most fun shows I've ever been to in my whole life was Ken Mode and Mares of Thrace, and it was just bowel shaking levels of heaviness. Yeah. And then this kind of has that same vibe to me, actually, like just a super, just extremely heavy and just like I start running out of adjectives, but just it's very emotional and very heavy to me.
Awesome. Yeah. Me too, for sure.
Right on. And then in terms of production, anybody in the band has worked in a lot of bands and has done production themselves. Is this a scenario where you're happy to hand the reins off to somebody else, or do you still feel like you need to kind of be pushing the buttons a little bit on the overall end result?
For this thing, none of us have ever done this before, but we all recorded our parts individually. Technically, like Dan and Sasha have never been in a room together. So we initially these 4 songs are going to be the demo. Like it kept getting better. I mixed it, but like I'm definitely not an engineer. Like I essentially mixed the whole thing using Waves, plugins, presets, and then Brad from Audio Siege like mastered it. But I was able to give him all my stem layers, so like he had a little more to work with. But for the full length, we're gonna probably record some of it ourselves. Like being a new band, like we're trying not to like. It's weird because like we've all been in these bands forever and we've toured all over, but like at the same time we have enough knowledge. Like we're like, well, do we really want to like dump all this money in, or like what can we record ourselves? So we're gonna have Travis from Generation of Vipers is gonna record drums, and then I'll record guitars and vocals up here, and then I haven't figured out what Sasha's doing, but I think we're gonna have Kurt Blue mix. So I'm very excited about that. But as far as me like wanting my hands on it, like I don't. It was just kind of, this thing was like a fluke, like like where we thought this was literally going to be a demo, and then it ended up sounding really good. And we're like, oh shit, we can put it out. So.
One thing for sure, whenever Sasha's not playing guitar or bass, he's making guitars and pedals.
Yeah, he's the busiest dude like I've ever met.
he's so, yeah. Well, I mean, but he's so chill. It's weird. He's not intense outwardly, but he's so productive. I'm in awe of him, actually, how much stuff he does. And he also has my favorite tattoo ever of a pedal diagram on the back of his leg or something. That sounded creepier coming out than when I thought about it. But yeah, it's true. I'm sorry, Sasha, and I'm sorry everybody else. Anyway, yeah, man. Again, but I was alluding to the fact that, like, you know how you want things to sound. You've always been a very, thoughtful composer, and we've had many chats where we talked about writing process and like what you hoped the result would be, and then you saw it through. So like, I always feel like a lot of people are very in touch with their artistry. Not to get too fanciful on a Friday night, but I do feel like, yeah, you're one of those people that you really have what direction you want it to go.
Yeah.
Before it goes there.
Yeah, that like in writing like all those Storm of Light records, like those records, because each record is so different. Like I definitely took those guys for like wild rides, like and like figuring out the sounds for the records. And for Guiltless, like I was like, all right, I'm not showing like anyone these fucking songs until like I can safely say I'm not going to change a thing about it unless like someone else comes in and says they want to change it. So yeah, like establishing like the direction for this was hard, but like a lot of fun. And then now that it lives, like it feels like, I mean, there'll be more breadth like from everyone in experimentation and stuff like that. But yeah, this is the band, and like it will be. Like, I'm not going to start singing like a Storm of Light on the next record. It's not like it's going to be a little more focused.
Right on. And I just want to talk for 1 second also about the artwork. It definitely seems like a choice, almost like a very sparse, you're a person that's known for your visual artwork, and it's a very spare cover with like a very simple design. And I was wondering, it seems like it's a choice. It's almost like a black metal cover. Like, it's so simple in a good way.
Thanks. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I always try to not repeat myself, and I got into like a kind of a circular thing with art for a while, and this band was like I really wanted to sort of revolve around like a kind of symbol, and that puts a lot of weight and pressure on whatever the hell that symbol is. It took a lot of time making that, and like I had like ideas for like a full length record and artwork, and I like once we decided it was going to be an EP. I was like, well, how do I focus this? And then what really happened is like, I decided that, with Neurosis and with the band, we decided that it was going to be very limited physical releases. So I decided, since it's so limited, like that I can actually finish the artwork myself, like at post manufacturing. So I'm doing like repasting and like stamping and spray painting. And like, so right now, like every physical product, like I've finished the art. It's hand numbered, like everything. So it was kind of like trying to figure out what the aesthetic is going to be and like what is actually achievable with something I can do in that fashion. Yeah, like it kind of like it all came together. I'm pretty sure that like the cover would have been the same anyway, but what's like the complementary art and like the back cover and stuff like that is like all right, well, what kind of panel can I repaste, and like how legible is a stamp going to be? And like, I don't know, it's pretty fun and tedious at the same time.
Anything you put your hands together to make is going to take, patience and time, of course. Let's, I saw that hand stamped, spray painted, hand numbered, rice pasted paper elements. That's right from the Bandcamp, in case anybody's wondering. I read it off the screen. And it sold out immediately, right? Because you said limited. So it's
fine. Yeah, the vinyl is, it's sold out, and what we allotted, because the plant we ordered from, like we could get 110 or we could get 80, so we don't really know. So we put up 65, and those are gone. So we'll see sort of what happens in like June when they get here.
All right, I'll keep watching. My greedy little fingers. Let's just do a really quick track by track run through. Whatever you feel like sharing. We'd love to hear from you on it, and I'll shout out the tracks, and you can just riff on it if you like. It's only an EP, so it'll go by quick. Either way, of course, Thorns begins with "Devour Collide," the first track.
That one was like actually it was kind of the first and the last song. Like I established kind of like the first half of it before the longer outro, and then I could not figure out the end. Like I spent like about 6 weeks on the 4 songs, but after that I spent about a month just trying to figure out what the hell the end of that song was going to be. And probably like one of my favorite parts. It's like really simple sounding, but like the guitar parts, like it's like a weird progression. So like it keeps getting sort of more complex, but the lyrics are just kind of like maniacally repeating. So it's yeah, like there's some of my favorite parts on it, I think, on the EP. It is the end of that, I think.
That's a crusher for sure. The second track is All We Destroy.
That one, I think that one really like kind of like defines like the general like package, like wrapping paper, I think, for the band. Like it's not super complex, but it has like all of the heft. And I think that one, like for me, is like I'm referencing as I'm working on new stuff, like that I need to make sure that, I mean, of course not every song is going to sound like that, but like that energy and like that like heft is like represented on the full length as well.
Nice. Good to have a bass line to refer back to. It's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
The third track is Dead Eye.
That one, Sasha calls it our ballad, which is actually, I mean, it's hilarious, just like in the terms of like a metal ballad, but it's probably the most bleak sounding. I'm working on a video right now. I'm curious for that one. I'm curious as to how it'll go over. It is AI based. I mean, I've been making videos for 20 plus years and shot videos for Dillinger Escape Plan and Sounder and like Neurosis and blah blah blah. Like, and it's funny because like Billy and I were talking about the High on Fire video that's like pretty heavily AI, and like people were just pissed that it was AI. So I'm interested to see, but like I don't feel like like I do design and like animation and motion graphics and album covers and shit for a living. So like I feel like it's sort of like in my best interest to explore that technology. This video, it's AI based, but like I have about 4,000 AI images that I've downloaded over like the last 4 or 5 months. And there's probably about 350 edits in the song. So like, I mean, it holds, it's minimalist. Like it's not like the High on Fire is like very like action based. This is definitely like more of like a weird Joy Division sort of like meets Ivy kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty stoked about it. It's got like some pretty disgusting parts and, so yeah, so that's the Dead Eye story.
Nice. Just to riff on this for a second, like anything that's polarizing like AI, I think there's probably a little too much, fear and righteous indignation. Like, this is going to ruin, you're a working artist. As much as you're well known for your music, you're equally well known for your art ability, your ability as a fine artist, and like you said, a video maker and an album layout expert, and all these things you've done. Your resume speaks for itself. So you're an artist using the tools. It's not like the band went to an AI thing and it just automatically did a thing and we didn't touch it. And it's lazy. Yeah. We're lazy, or we don't pay artists, or we don't care. Like, people are so polarized and quick to jump. But like, also, we've been all using AI for like decades. We just didn't know it. We didn't call it AI. Predictive technology, autocorrect, all spell check, all these things that are AI based in a way. But I think there's just like, oh, it's AI, it's horrible, like immediately. And we all shared a couple of stories. GNR did a completely AI music video for one of their like reimagined singles from Chinese Democracy. Everybody was angry that we reported the story. I'm like, I have a news outlet. That's what we do. Same thing. Who's another band that's also like just totally got smashed over this? Unleash the Archers, right? Award-winning band, a beloved band, a killer band in the underground, award-winning, and they have a record that's about AI and the prevalence of AI and what's coming. So they did an AI-inspired album cover with an artist that used AI to make the cover. But people were killing them. And I was like, get less in your feelings about these things, folks. The future is unavoidable. I don't want to see artists lose jobs. I don't want to see musicians lose jobs. I'm not interested in metal only made by AI. I want the human touch in it. I just wanted your take on that for a second, too.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I don't know. It's like I think using it as like to create music, to me, that's fucking weird. But like, I would never do that. I mean, yeah. I mean, I use tools to create videos. Every director does. Like, I use Cinema 4D, like, which is crazy 3D shit where you build entire cities and then you light them and you like put people in them. Use After Effects, like a stage, sets, lighting, wardrobe, costuming, like everything, like everything is like a tool, so to speak. Like, and this is a tool that is really going to happen no matter what the fuck any of me or like my contemporary like peers like want to happen. It's gonna happen, and it's better to have some idea of what you're up against and like how you can utilize a tool. I mean, right now, like the most regular use of that tool for me, like in my like day job kind of work, is like you're creating storyboards and coming up with ideas. So you have this idea, like you storyboard it out, and then you're like, well, is there a different like take on this concept that I can put into an AI? And then it spits something out, and it may or may not be good, but like you can like kind of bounce things like immediately off yourself and like clients and like that kind of stuff to figure out what other possibilities there are. Like, it is a total mixed bag. I do think AI will end up leading to like a sort of like standard income with a lot of unemployed people, and maybe including myself. Like, but I don't really think there's anything we can do about it.
Yeah, I hope nobody is out there like, boy, I would love to get Josh Graham, but I can't afford him. Let me get the AI to give me a Josh Graham-like light show or a Josh Graham-like album cover. Like, I hope not, but it's possible. It is possible.
Yeah, there are people like, the artists that are getting swept the rails. Like, they're like losing work essentially from this. So I think my like general body of work is too like weird and all over the place to like get something specific. I mean, you could maybe put in like some of the Neurosis ones and like as like an image reference and try to spit something out. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be curious. I'm curious to see what happens. I have no idea what to expect.
There it is. Thank you for sharing all that. I appreciate you weighing in. And the final track of the EP is In Radiant Glow. Yeah,
I think that one is probably my favorite song. I think it's kind of all of ours. It has sort of a Storm of Light like flow to it as far as the arrangement goes, but Billy like really approached like his drumming on this record is like so different from Storm of Light and from Generation of Vipers. Like, but he like in Radiant Glow, like I was sort of expecting like Nations of Flames, like crazy, like fast, complex. Like when we were writing Nations of Flames, he said, my body's not happy with the choices my brain is making, because the drum parts are so insane on that record. But like he really like pulled it back, and it's like, I don't know, it's killer. It just changes like the whole mood of that song. I think and like his drumming really changed the mood of like the entire EP itself. Like it's more, it has like kind of like a Sabbath, but like Godflesh with like a minimalist. Like it's fucking great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's a great closing track. It kind of sums up everything. Cannot wait to hear the full length in due time, and I appreciate you sharing all that with us. That was a lot of fun and very informative. Just as I give you back your evening in another second, my last question is just like, are you working on anything else we can help share or promote, or is it all hush-hush until we're ready to hear it?
No, I'm just totally focused on this right now. Like that's kind of the only working, and if I'm not working, I'm working on Guiltless stuff. And I'm trying to finish this video for Deadeye this weekend because I need to get back to the music. So,
all right, killer, man. Hey, Josh, it's always a pleasure to chop it up with you. You're one of the realest ones I've ever had the pleasure of talking to in 11 years, 12 years almost of Ghost Cult. Thank you so much for your generosity and your time. And Congratulations on Thorns, the new EP by the new group Guiltless. And I'm really stoked for you, man. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Take care. We'll see you soon.